Welcome everybody to the Q&A for Shorts Program 2. I'm going to bring everybody in. Stand by. Got a few filmmakers to bring in here. There's one. There's two.
All of this, like, you know, but
Okay, Douglas might have to mute. Let's see. Vanessa should be coming in here. Neil.
Hi, Vanessa.
So I think we're just missing one.
Hey, Cameron. Hi. You see it?
We're just missing one person, but maybe.
John.
Yes.
So it's actually Cengiz, the other filmmaker that will be doing the Q&A with Douglas, not myself.
Okay. Okay. So would you like to exit stage left?
I would like, and I can still watch it, right?
Thank you, Vanessa.
Okay. I don't see Cengiz in here though.
Starts with a C, by the way. C.
Let's see. I don't see anything close to that name. You sure in the room?
I'll text him right now.
Yeah, he might not be in the room. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I know we have some audience members in here, and wow, intense program. It's sometimes ironic that movies that have somehow youth or kids in them, people consider that, oh, that must be a family movie. It must be for kids. But obviously, this program is not for kids for the most part, anyway. I think some families would let their teenagers see some of this just because it's something that maybe they should be aware of. But I'm a father of a 12-year-old, and I have to say, some of this would be really challenging for him. So. Yeah, but first and foremost, thank you all for joining us. You all have amazing films. As you can imagine, we had hundreds of entries, and certainly honored to have you in our program. And I know some of you have played a lot of festivals, so thank you for taking the time to join us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah,
absolutely. So why don't we just start? We'll go clockwise, and Cameron, maybe you could talk a little bit about your film and then tell us your film and kind of what made you come to the conclusion that this was a movie you had to tell, and give it kind of short, and then we'll circle back because I want to spend most of the time on the questions.
Totally. Yeah. So for me, Sticky was originated in a personal statement. It's based on a true story. This is something that really happened to a girl about Cassie's age, and basically just came across it. My helped to craft that personal statement, and then we just kind of snagged it and said, you know what, this is kind of a perfect. I just love the idea of the food and the terribleness all in one place, all at once. It just struck me.
Right. That's wonderful. Okay, Douglas, can you hear us? You might have to unmute to share your
I can hear you, and I apologize about the noise in the background. I was just trying to help Cengiz get on, but he can't seem to get on. He's trying to get into Bergman Hall. But all to say, I was really blown away by the other films. I'm just happy to be in the company of you guys. Honestly, I feel like I'm not up to the bar that you guys have set. So thanks very much for sharing. And I'm sorry, John. Was the question with regards to?
Well, just a brief origin of what brought you to the story. Making the film.
Sure. It had been about 15 years since I'd made a narrative film, and I spent quite a bit of time at my lake house in Vermont, and I looked at this little solitary island, and I kept on thinking, what kind of a story can I tell with regards to that? And I'd say the most powerful aspect of my life is always comes back to family. And I wanted to tell a story about family, and that's where it started.
Wonderful. Beautiful. It's a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing. Emil.
Yeah, so my film 1, 2, 3 All Eyes on Me came out of me feeling like people were aware of these situations. They obviously happen with like way too much regularity. But what I felt was missing was a true emotional understanding of what it would be like. And, you know, I think effective war films can transport us from our living room onto a battlefield and give us a really clear idea of what it would be like to be there. And how horrible it is. And I wanted to do the same for these type of situations in the hope that that would help create the empathy needed to stop them.
Yeah, it's really powerful, I have to say. And some people might think when you first come into this film and you start watching that at some point we might shift into more stories or personal views of the kids. And it's an interesting approach to think about her, right? And how she's going to deal with this situation. Was that always part of the plan to really focus on her struggle?
Yeah. So my mom was a teacher for 30 years. She's retired now. But I really feel like kids in a whole variety of contexts, kids always kind of suffer for the consequences of what adults do, whether it's the way we affect our world, what we do to one another, racism, what have you. It all kind of falls down on kids. But really adults have the power to change this. So I wanted the audience, this film is definitely made for adults, not for children. I wanted an adult to see themselves and wonder what they would do if they were in this teacher's situation. Right.
And Cameron, so, you know, in your case, yes, there are adult actors, but it's really her carrying the story. Was that always part of the plan? And talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many characters that could have been in this, right? Like we don't even hear from the mom. She's just mentioned in passing. To me, it just felt like I'm really curious about her experience. And so that's what I wanted to zoom in on, was what I felt was the most kind of difficult situation to deal with, you know, learning piece by piece that your life is falling apart.
Right.
And then deciding kind of what to do with that at the very end.
Right. Yeah. It's like one surprise after another.
Yeah.
No, it's good. I mean, I think it's challenging, I think, to jam so many surprises into a short film. And, you know, kudos for you for being able to raise a really powerful theme, but then layer on top of that, okay, can this get any more strange? Yeah, it seems somehow normal in that world, right?
It's a real story. Yeah. I mean, it happened. So
yeah, well, that just makes it that much more powerful. I was doing a program with shorts last night that were all sci-fi shorts, right? So it's a completely different situation. I mean, you guys are dealing with real, powerful stuff, right? Funerals, terrorism. I mean, it's a lot. So Douglas, I know you're in kind of a challenging environment there, but can you talk a little bit more about you know, working with this girl and walking across the ice? I mean, that was been challenging.
John, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Again, sorry for the background noise. So the girl in the background is actually my niece. So that's my brother and sister-in-law's daughter, and it's her first time ever acting.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine Emil, who I had the opportunity to speak with earlier today. You must have been dealing with so many, you know, people who've never even been in front of a camera.
18.
18, exactly. So yeah, she was, you know, she was great, and she actually got injured at one point, and I can't remember if it was my brother or my sister-in-law who had to deal with it, but she got injured and just like, and she was scared because she was worried about falling through the ice. And you know, taking more takes and trying to convince somebody why you need to take a new take sometimes is can be challenging. But I can tell you that I don't know. It was really. It felt great once. Once you see the final result and the kind of emotive nature of what comes out of the whole thing.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. So I want to shift gears for a moment and talk a little bit about just the idea of just being selfish for a minute. I'm a big fan of social impact filmmaking, and clearly that's what a lot of these subjects and themes are that you all are talking about. Beginning, I guess, with the obvious with yours, Emil. When you were making this movie, did you have an intention to have like an impact campaign to support the release of the movie? I mean, obviously it's a short film, so it wasn't necessarily going to be playing in movie theaters. So was there an intention to do something with that, play it in front of folks to show them what happens to people, or a slice of that environment and what they could take away or learn from that?
Yeah, so my first and primary goal was to create this deeper, better emotional understanding, and I do think, you know, that was our intention, and I do think that there's room for us to be stronger. And so, you know, we've played at lots of festivals now throughout this whole year, and we've definitely.
Didn't you just win a big award?
Yeah, yeah, we won Holly Shorts,
That's
which
great.
qualified us for the Oscar.
That's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. But I do feel like, that being said, like there's still a lot of room to translate the emotions that this film generates into something more tangible and concrete. And we're still kind of figuring out the best way to do that and who to partner with. I don't claim to be like an expert on the best way to resolve these situations. So there's definitely more room there. We did also get picked up by HBO, so the film.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Great.
So, you know, that will start in April. So many more people will be able to watch the film. Hey.
Hi, sorry.
No worries. So there's still time to figure that out. But yes, to answer your question, I would totally like to transition the emotions from the film into something concrete.
That's wonderful. I'm actually sitting here at Creative Visions. I don't know if you've all heard of them, but it's an amazing non-for-profit that supports impact filmmaking. These are all movies that have been made over the years. They have this creative activist program where they support filmmakers that are trying to do good with their stories. So
very cool.
Kudos for you on that. I could connect the dots for you later on that.
Okay.
So,
great.
Douglas, do you want to introduce us to?
Sure. By ways of an introduction, the gentleman who just joined us is if you had a chance to see the film, the picture and the image is thanks to this guy over here, Cengiz, who I've known for a long time. We actually worked on my first music video that I did in 1998. Which is quite a ways back, and he's the cinematographer and my partner in making this.
Terrific. Well, thanks for joining us. How do you pronounce your name? Cengiz?
Cengiz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Sorry, I was late.
That's okay. It happens. It's a film festival, and it's virtual, and we're all here. So thanks for joining us. Well, everybody has already shared a bit about their film and their contribution and the telling of the story, and a few highlights here and there. Maybe you could share something from your point of view as the cinematographer. Obviously, the look was amazing on that film. We were talking about the ice earlier. Any anecdotes or something you want to share about the look and what you're aiming for there?
Well, I think it was hard not to, being on a frozen lake, the starkness of it all, and a perfectly situated island on this lake.
Yeah.
It made my job very easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
It's like you point anything at that, it's gonna look good. And we didn't really use much. We really kept it quite natural with lighting and stuff. We didn't. I think there was only one scene at the hot tub that we used the light. Everything else was au naturel. it was lovely to work with the weather and the sun and to kind of move shots according to where the light's going to be.
Right.
So it was a real pleasure.
How many days did it take you to shoot the film? You remember?
It's like 6 days. There was three summer and 3 in the winter. So in total 6, right, Douglas?
Yeah. He just gave you a thumbs up.
Yes.
Cool. So let's shift gears for a moment because I want to jump into the Q&A here in a minute. But I want to just hear, we can go around starting again with Cameron. Tell us a little bit about what's up next for you. Are you looking to go make another short? Are you working on a feature? What can we look forward to?
Well, the next immediate thing that I'm doing is working on a music project. So a little change in gears, but after that kind of comes out, an EP of some sort, I'll be working on another short that's a little more, I think, darker in nature, and I'll certainly be taking inspiration from Emil's film tonight. It's about, using tattoos to cover scars, and I think scars are something that they always have a story. And so I think it's just a really nice symbol. It's a nice way into a story. So I'm working on that script right now. It's a short.
Terrific. It's great to hear. Cengiz, do you want to talk about an upcoming project or what's next for you? Are you guys working on anything else together?
I'm waiting for Douglas to, he's always got a script cooking. As soon as he cooks
you,
up
Douglas.
his new script,
Yeah.
I'm there.
Working on a feature script right now, and Cengiz has no idea about it, but he's definitely going to be.
He'll be in touch, Cengiz.
Yeah,
Stay
great.
tuned.
I don't want to work with anyone else.
Yeah, it's great. We had that come up a few times in these discussions here this weekend. Just it's people like to work with their people. It's great. It's the whole family. You get somebody that's good. We had a filmmaker last night. It was literally rescheduled their movie because their first AD wasn't available. Like they just really wanted the right people. So Emil, what's up next for you?
So I am currently developing a feature. It'll be my first feature. I'm writing with Derek, who wrote 1, 2, 3 with me, and it is set in a totally different world. Totally different characters, but very, very similar style and tone, and a lot of the same emotions, but extended to an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Wow. Well, good for you. You're definitely ready. So take the plunge. All right, let's jump into some questions here. The first one, again, we can kind of go around the room here. Tell us some of your favorite moments of making this film. Maybe just pick 1 or 2 if you can go rather quickly, because I want to get everybody's feedback here. Cameron.
I think one of my favorite moments in our film is being able to send my crew home with a sticky bun each.
That's awesome.
We worked with this beautiful little bakery up in Westchester, and he's like a master patisserie. He baked Chelsea Clinton's wedding cake. Just an absolute artist. And we made a bunch of them, and we ended up just kind of wetting the same one and using it over and over for the shoot. I was really happy that everyone got to go home with one on their own.
That's great. That's great. Cengiz, you want to share a moment?
Maybe the we were trying to get the POV shot of the.
By the way, I love that you're lying down.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I was watching the movies, right? So I was like, I'm in my own home, so I can lie down and watch these films. It's the pleasure of COVID. But it was getting the POV shot of the girl, and we thought we had it, and Douglas slept on it, and he's like, I don't like it, and he kept pushing for this shot, and until he saw what he wanted, we got up really early in the morning, and we were like just on the cliff trying to get different angles through trees to get this island, and And in the end, push, we got the shot. So it was just that kind of relentless persistence to get the right shot, which was
Perseverance.
fun. In the end, during it, I'm just like, God, can we just if we've got 5 that are good enough, but no, you keep pushing, and then you get the one you like. So I appreciated that him riding me until we got
It was worth it. Sounds like it was worth it.
Yes, it was worth it. Yes.
All right, Douglas, what do you got?
Cengiz convincing me to do more drone shots, which ended up being the best shots of the film, basically. I'm curious to hear about Emil. Talk to me, Emil.
All right, so I'm gonna start with the worst moment, and then I'll end on a lighter moment. So the worst moment. Oh, and Cengiz, by the way, your mic is rubbing on your shirt a little bit. There you go.
Sorry.
All good. So the worst moment was we wrapped production on a Friday, and then I passed out. Wake up Saturday, and Saturday was the El Paso shooting, which is pretty much this situation, but set at a Walmart, which was especially heartbreaking, having just spent all the time with the kids and creating a situation like this. So that was definitely the low point. The high point was when we had our screening in Oakland for the kids and the crew. And I said, like, we're going to do, like, everybody get as dressed up as possible. And, like, keep in mind, these kids are, like, 8 and 9 years old.
Yeah.
18 out of 20 of them had never been on a set, never acted before. And now they're in a full-blown, beautiful, historic movie theater on the lake in Oakland, in little tuxes and dresses. And,
Cool.
They got to see themselves, like, in a real movie, even though it's 15 minutes. So that was definitely the high point for me.
That's great. That's great. Love that. Okay, so there's a question here. I think it might be directed towards Emil. It doesn't say. How can interested people help get involved? What groups could you recommend that they could reach out to check out and learn more? I'll just say before you answer that, we deliberately added an Impact Expo to the festival that some of you may or may not have had time to check out, but it's on the Filmocracy land map on the right-hand side. If you click on that, it opens up an expo, which is supported by Creative Visions, where we actually talk about all these different movies that are social impact movies and that are connected to related causes, and how you can get involved in those causes and how you can make a donation to those causes. So it's obviously, again, an important thing for us here at Filmocracy Fest. But if there's any specific organizations that you guys want to give a shout out to or make recommendations, absolutely. Anybody?
Yeah, I can shout out too. So there's March for Our Lives, and then there's also Sandy Hook Promise. Both were formed by victims of different school shootings. So you can definitely check out both of those.
Terrific, terrific. So let's see here. Okay, so what is one piece of advice that you'd like to give someone who wants to make their first short film? Cameron?
Well, yeah, this was my first short film, professionally. So I would say go find Columbia University Film School's criteria or curriculum rather, and just read their books, because the only way that I was able to make any of this happen is by being a little bit, scared shitless, and then reading and finding confidence in those words in the textbooks. So it really helped me to make the thing happen that I knew that I really wanted to make happen, and hadn't really had the, ability to get myself to do it. It's hard when you don't have a lot of money, and maybe if you're starting your first short film, you might be fresh out of college, and filming takes money. So just know that, there are corners to cut. And I think I'm not going to speak for everybody, but like you can cut corners. You can ask for forgiveness afterward. It's a way to pursue yourself and make sure that you put yourself as the first person in your life in some ways.
Cool. James, you want to say something about that, or should we have Douglas talk about that? About like any advice for a first-time short filmmaker?
You're on mute.
Hey, don't think too much about it. Just go shoot. Find an iPhone or find. I mean, when we started, like VX1000 was the best camera, and now anything you buy off the shelf is better than that. And as long as you've got an idea, find a way. You don't need much budget if you kind of adapt an idea for that. I don't know, Douglas.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, I mean, just shoot and make and shoot and make and just keep on going, and the people who matter are gonna find out, and you'll figure it out, and it'll happen. If you're passionate, people will figure it out, and they'll find you.
Good call. Emil?
Yeah, I totally agree with everybody so far. I would just expand on it by say write, shoot, and edit. Regardless of where your passion is, I think when you're starting out, I view those things as 3 phases of the same thing, and they're all going to inform one another. When you're shooting, you'll realize what you didn't write, what you needed. When you're editing, you realize what you didn't shoot that you needed, and so next time you'll write that in, and it'll all go from there. So when you're starting out, yeah, write, shoot, edit, repeat.
Yeah, and I think I'll just throw something out because I have a couple of courses that I do that help inform festivals and filmmakers on their festival journeys and finding distribution, et cetera. And if you're making a short film to become a calling card to go and do more, that's one thing. If you're making a short film just to kind of work on a craft because it's your first one, that's another thing, right? So you kind of got to know your goals going in, and that helps to inform. You kind of reverse engineer from there, because if you're going to spend 10, 20, 50, 100, whatever you're going to spend thousands of dollars on this movie, and it's going to take you a lot of time, you want to make sure that the script is ready and that you've got some, if it is a drama, do you have actors that can really act? I mean, it's great if you want to bring people in that don't have the experience and you want to roll the dice, and sometimes you get lucky. But I think it depends on what you're trying to do with the film, right? I mean, that has to be part of the equation.
Definitely.
All right, so the last question I have here, some of you, had some challenging moments in your movie where, feelings were hurt. We spent a lot of time with Emil's film, but it certainly happened in some of the others. Was there a moment where you were worried that you might have gone a little too far? Is there anything that kind of made you think, well, maybe I shouldn't push that extra step in terms of the material?
The question is more about in the script itself, or in the shooting of it?
I'm interpreting this question. Is it going to be too challenging for the audience to accept? I'm thinking with the kids, right? If you've got these guys shooting, right, and you've got kids in the room.
Yeah.
That's my take on the question. It's what it says here. That's my interpretation of it.
Was there a moment where I thought we went too far?
Well, it's just like when you're, I don't know if you storyboarded it out or you just were doing the shot list. Was there ever a time where you're like, well, should I show more of that or less of that? Or
so
do I follow that guy into the room?
I got you. Okay. Yeah. So for us, we had very clear kind of boundaries that we discussed right up front, and we adhered to those. So we knew we were never going to show it. So there's actually no violence shown in the film. We don't show a single person being hurt. We don't show any blood. We knew we were never going to show any bodies. It was just like, how do we create this feeling? How do we get people to imagine it without being exploitative or gratuitous or excessive? So we had those boundaries set for us right up front. And then we definitely stuck to that the entire time. So it's obviously, I mean, the subject itself is really challenging, so we weren't going to tippy-toe around that. But no, I would say we never were worried we were going too far.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this up here in a moment, but I want to just go around one more time and see if there's anything that you guys can share about either what's next for this particular project. Is it? I mean, we know yours is going to come to HBO soon. Anything like your websites? Anything you want to share about how people can follow you guys, stay in touch, see what you're working on? Cameron, we'll start with you again. That's okay.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think the best way to follow me right now is just on my Instagram, which is just my name, Cameron Johanning. I'll post some stuff there.
Cool. And with your film, with Popperfly?
Honestly, I think the best way is going to be to maybe I'll follow Cameron's lead and say you can go to Douglas OK on Instagram, and we'll go from there. I mean, I really, it's been an opportunity. It's been a great, it's been awesome to be here with you guys. So I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you very much to you, John, for organizing this, and Emil, Cameron. Pleasure to meet you guys, and congratulations on your films. They really did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you coming. All right, Emil.
Yeah, same. Well, first, John, and to Aaron and your whole team, thank you guys for having us. Cameron, Cengiz, Douglas, great to meet you guys. So you can follow me on Instagram at EmilG80. I should have a lot more coming. Next up will be the feature, and hopefully some more stuff that isn't official yet. But EmilG80 on Instagram.
Terrific. All right. Well, thanks again, you guys. You made some terrific films. Honor to have you here. And I know there's a good crowd for the movie, and I'm sure they were thrilled. And yeah, we'll see you around campus, right? There's a lot more movies and a lot more panels, and stick around, stay involved, and hopefully you'll meet some folks and you'll get to talk shop and maybe even collaborate on future projects. Until then, we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks for having us, John.
All right, you got it. Be well.